Hey everybody, welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown, a sports talk show devoted to the movie trivia Schmoedown. I am Jay Wade. Once again, as usual, we've got our numbers guy, Double D. How you doing, man?
Well, some days you lose. Sometimes you win the matches. Sometimes you lose the matches. But you know what? If I had to lose, I'd rather lose being right. But I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. I'm happy that you are here. So thank you for your role on this show. Joining us again for the second time, Teresa from Euroschmoes. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Happy to be here.
Now, welcome back. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. And from Let's Get Ready Network, Dagan is joining us again. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. A lot of fun watching those matches yesterday, especially that Star Wars title match. It was an absolute barn burner, as we all expected it was. And looking forward to talking about everything else going on in the Schmoedown with you all today.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some stuff to talk about. But real quick, because I'm obsessive compulsive, to please my eye, I am going to do that so that it does not look
you.
It is looking off screen. All right, that looks a lot better to me. Okay, guys, so we had some great matches this week. We are right in the tournament here. Saul versus Haas. Oh, Saul, man, you could see the blood running out of his mouth and dripping off that magnificent beard of his. Saul is back in full force, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that he's playing. Not only is he playing strategically, but he's playing hard, because we saw that when his last match that he was going to multiple choice. He was taking his time using those JTs. Now I don't want to be Robert Parker facing him, because I think he's going to win this match. I know he's on my team, on my fantasy league, but it's like I feel like he's right. I feel like he's going to win it. But
yeah, I also feel sorry for Parker, because I was super sure he's going to win the finals, but after his last match and after Saul's last match, I think it will be tighter than I expected.
Yeah, I also am with you guys. I think Saul might actually take this thing. He's playing on another level right now. He's playing at that championship level, if you would. The circumstances on the live match that he had at Collision, I think there was some stuff that happened, a long delay getting everything going, so he wasn't quite where he was at. But I think he's gotten back to that level. And this guy, Parker is no slouch, absolutely. But it's going to be really interesting to see this in a live setting, how both of these guys play in the buzzer round, because we haven't seen either of them in the buzzer round. But, hey, with one little blemish here on the top with Moose, I got a near-perfect bracket. So, come on, Saul. You got this. Saul show.
Interestingly enough, I had Parker and Saul going throughout this whole tournament, so I'm
nice.
Almost perfect.
I'm still going to have to stick with what I said last week, which still shocks me when I think about it, that I said it. But as far as Saul, of course, I would love for Saul to win this. Big fan. I have to go with Parker's momentum. He has the momentum in this. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's my thought on that, at least. Call me crazy. I've been called worse than that. That's for sure.
Maybe even recently, too, right?
Yeah, maybe even within the last
24 hours.
So.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But yeah, also, moving on here real quick, around the horn, just so it's official. I hate to say it, but I think Parker's going to win. Double D, what do you think? What's your pick?
Honestly, it can go either 50-50, but I'm pulling in Saul. I just think he's just a little bit more fiercer, and I think that might actually get into Parker's head a little bit.
All right. Dagan, what do you think?
Yeah, again, I think it could go either way, but yeah, I'm backing my boy Saul on this one. Saul show, all the way.
I feel really shitty now. I mean, I want Saul to win. Nothing against Parker, but I want Saul to win. But just the momentum that Parker has. Teresa, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I have both on my fantasy team, so I'm okay either way. But I'm still picking Parker. I think that one messy match probably helped him, and he won't have another one. And Sol had a lot of luck in this match. He still played exceptionally, but he did spinners. His opponents spun opponents. Like, I don't know if that will happen. I think the buzzers will be the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I will also quickly say that I think that this match is going to come down to the wire. Every match in the tournament so far has been a KO or TKO. I think this is the first one that we're going to really see go the distance.
Hell yeah. I agree with all that. I mean, go ahead, Frenchie.
I gotta say fast, Soul all the way, the Soul Show, baby. I love Parker, and maybe last year I would have said Parker, no problem. Something about Soul, I kind of feel sorry for Parker.
Like I said, it's hard for me to say it, and momentum is the only reason I'm going with Parker. It's the only reason. I hope I'm wrong, though. I will be honest.
You know you're going to get so much shit from him for this pick there, Jay.
I know. I'm sorry. Is that why he's declined to do this show the last 3 times I have asked him? I saw him on Let's Get Ready Network last night, which was great. He's always much better on your show than he is on this show.
Yeah, he likes us more. That's all.
Which I was about to say, which obviously means that he likes you guys more. Which, hey, man, I cannot be mad at facts. And I said this about something a couple weeks ago. You can't be mad at facts, dude. Like, you can be upset that something is a fact. And yes, I'm very upset that Saul likes Let's Get Ready Network more than me. But I'm not mad that he likes them more than me. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to go off into a rage or anything. Yeah, and then he declined to be on today too. So, but that's because I only gave him like 2 hours notice. So that one wasn't fair. I love you, Saul. I feel really stupid for betting against you, Saul. But the momentum, dude, the momentum. It's like never. I was going to compare it to baseball again, but that's getting old. Zipper versus Janine. Hey, man, I'm starting to learn, Dan. I'm starting to learn.
But it took you long enough.
Yeah, maybe next season I'll really muzzle myself better. Zipper versus Janine. There was something that happened in the match, and we're going to touch on.
Oh, there was? I didn't notice.
We are going to talk about that later.
Oh, okay, the Rangers, they look pretty good this season. No.
But other than that, dude, I'm glad Janine won. I'm a fan of hers. The match itself was really good. It was exciting. I enjoyed it. It was close. It was fun. Other than that one thing. But, yeah.
Yeah, Janine's playing on a whole new level this season. We saw that with the team title match. I know she wasn't supposed to be there, but she's proven time and time again that she deserves to be in this league. And it's nice to see that she finally is advancing into round 2. So, and of course, she's on my fantasy league as well. So it's been somewhat of a great week for the Dragon Fighters. My Dragon Fighters are making me proud.
Yeah,
well, I don't know what place I'm in. I can't remember right now. Or I'm not sure, like, with all the updates, what place I am running in right now. But I don't think I'm in first anymore like I used to be.
Nope.
But yeah, I did. But yeah, I like this match a lot. It was fun. It was exciting. When you want a good match that is enjoyable, this is the kind of match that you think about. But yeah, we'll go reverse style, counterclockwise, if you will. Teresa, what are your thoughts on the Zipper and Janine the Machine match?
Yeah, Janine's matches always get me emotional, whatever happens in them, because Janine is such a source of inspiration for me. So I loved it. I'm glad that luck finally broke her way. But I'm sorry for Zipper because he's also one of the most underrated players in the league, I think. And he really got me with that announcement. I thought he was really going to retire, and I wouldn't blame him after this season, but I'm glad it didn't happen. But so happy for Janine, and I hope she will beat whoever comes next.
Yeah, I also got a little sad there for a brief minute thinking that Zipper was going to retire, but I'm glad that it was a swerve. I don't want to see this guy go and leave the Schmoedown anytime soon. He's a really, really fun player. And yeah, one of those players that definitely gets better and better with every match, it seems like, but just can't quite get that win yet. But I think he will. I think next season is his season to really maybe shine here. But with Janine, I mean, as a big Janine fan over the last few years as well, and we'll talk about that later in the show, but regarding Ryan's comment here. But yeah, I just want to see nothing but great things for Janine the Machine. I think that, out of anybody, she might be facing Dan Murrell in the third round if she makes it past Mike or Walter Hauser next. So that's going to be like probably her biggest test to date if that does happen. But it's crazy to say with the way that she's been playing recently with Dan. He's Dan. He's the greatest of all time. He's also played well this season. I could actually see Janine beating Dan Murrell. I think it might happen. So yeah, really good showing from her here. And then we'll talk, the other thing that happened in this match later in the show. But yeah, that's sort of my overall thoughts for now.
Double D, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everyone that said everyone said. Janine is just playing great, and Eric Zipper. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't think that he. I had Janine winning regardless of whether she was on my faction or not, but Eric Zipper is this underrated person and player, and honestly, I forgot. Just last year, he beat Stacey Howard. He played really strong when he was on the dungeon. So unfortunately, it just isn't transferring over with swag. But maybe that's because bad luck, bad categories that he's just gotten. So hopefully, he can just be better next year.
I'm sorry, bad luck, okay, but 0 and 4 for the year is more than bad luck. He's trying, but it's not a season. It's more than bad luck. I think the level of competition with the rookies and with how everyone's evolving, Zipper is kind of losing track right now, personally.
Yeah. So Jay's gone. Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that.
You gave me a panic attack, Jay. I'm like, okay, now I'm hosting.
I was still here. I just I had to pick my nose, which I wouldn't mind doing on air. It's the eating it part that I didn't want to show.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding.
Why?
Come on, guys. I don't do that. I wipe it on my chair.
Sure.
Hey, better than wiping it on the wall. It's impossible to get boogers off the wall. But anyway, this is not the booger show. Okay, Brittany Young and James White match was the one we got yesterday. That was a good, fun match. Has James White played this season? Because for some reason I don't recall.
He lost to Preston.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it. One match. So
Okay.
he's 1-1 this season.
I like him. I can't believe. Well, I can believe it being me, but I didn't. I obviously don't recall him from playing earlier this season. But I was impressed with what I saw. I liked him. I don't know.
Yeah. I forgot that he played Paul Preston too. So you're not alone, Jay. But I think it's because there's just so many rookies here, and we had to watch them all. So I even forgot Beth May was in. I forgot King Khan was in there. So it's just that there's so many people involved. But yeah, I had Brittany Young winning this because of experience, because she's been in the league a little bit more, or at the same time, but she's had more matches. But again, I'm surprised that but hey, I was entertained the whole way through, and I'm glad that he actually won the match, and hopefully I can be proven wrong with the whole numbers bet that I'm about to do.
I'm gonna be that person. Actually, they have the same number of matches. They both played 3 times before. But yeah, I get that there's so many matches.
This wouldn't
this
be the
season.
first time that I'm wrong. It won't be the last. So
but so many matches this season, and he played really early in the year. I remember him playing well because it was one of those perfect first rounds earlier in the year. But I think it all fell apart in the second round for him. So I also had Brittany, but this was kind of a toss-up for me. Brittany is just always so enjoyable for me to watch. She's such a light character, so happy, and I love her. But I'm glad James won because he had a lot of hype coming in last year, and he didn't really live up to the hype. So maybe now he will have a chance to do that. And corruption kind of needs him to do well now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, it's tough because Brittany Young coming off that last match that she played where she went perfect, I think, or maybe had to check down multiple choice once or twice. But this match, she hit a really tough category there in round 2. And just didn't play her best match, you know, and that'll happen in this game. But she seems like she really likes playing in the Schmoedown and love her character. I agree with you, Teresa. I was a big fan of Glow and her character on that as well. So I really hope to see more of Brittany Young next season. I'm hoping that they keep her in the league, even with the sort of rosters being shrunken and everything. But James White, I think this is probably his best match that he's played to date. You know, Dan can tell us what sort of the numbers are, but he definitely seems like he played his best match here and really proven himself as that sort of number 1 pick last season. And as you said, there's a lot of hype going into last year for him, and he didn't quite live up to that. So I think in this tournament, he might be one of those sort of sleeper picks that we don't see coming, and then he goes deep in the tournament. But he does have a very tough opponent next with David Del Rio. So I think that'll be a really, really fun, good match to watch as well.
Hey, let's address this question on screen here because that's interesting. And with the faction counts, like the amount of players per faction shrinking, obviously there's probably not going to be as many players in the league. Not everyone's going to be able to stay. Do we think she's going to be one of the ones who is staying in Schmoedown next season, or does she maybe go to FCL?
I think she stays. Her last match was too good. Like she went perfect. I think maybe she checked down once, but she's too good. She's famous. She's a great character. I think she's one of the people who are staying.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think she's going to the FCL. I think she'll stay on the main roster, if you were to call it that. But especially with Roxy's roster now, probably no Andraco, no Snyder. There's room for somebody like a Brittany Young on there, so I think that she stays.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about this, but now that you pointed out that Andraco and Jeff is gone, it makes it a little bit more easier for me. I think that's going to be. Yeah,
that's
I think
me.
That, yeah. So a little preview for to come. But I think, I think I agree with you guys that she might actually have a good shot staying on the main roster for next season. But we'll have to wait and see.
The only thing, I don't know, I think maybe Andrejko is coming back next season because he was really excited in the queer movies match.
I think he said that he's taking a break till further notice or indefinitely.
Yeah,
so
okay.
he's definitely coming back at some point, but as of right now, I think, I don't know, but maybe he's just taking a break from that one.
Yeah, he just said in that match, that that's wrapped up the reason why he left.
Yeah.
So I hope he's coming back next season. But yeah, maybe not. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's it for the week's matches. Now we're gonna talk about the pay-per-view match. And I've got a clip here that Dan requested that I pull up. Let me
so before before we play the clip, let me explain the context. So back about 6 months ago, Frenchie's Corner's question was, is Alex Damon going to be dethroned this season? Now, we were all mentioning Thomas Harper because of the hype around him. And obviously, we were thinking Thomas Harper would do it. Obviously, Andrew Demolanta did it. But I said something in that segment that I want to play right here, right now. So go ahead, Jake.
Well, I agree with you. We shouldn't call rookies the new champions. I've only done that twice. One was with Kevin Smets in his very first match when I was writing for Trivia SD. I went to this and said, this guy's going to be a future champion, mark my words, and he was the champion that season. The second time, I'm calling it. Thomas Harper is going to be a future Star Wars belt holder. Maybe not this season. I'm not saying when, but he's definitely going to be a future, and it might happen this season. So
there you go. You did. You
call.
Yep. I called that 6 months ago, so I'm 2-2
Nice.
with the gut.
Yeah. Good call. I've made some really bad picks here as far as who's going to win matches over the last, I don't know what, month, 2 months through the last season, the whole year. So yeah, but hey man, your picks are better than mine. That's why you're doing better than me. In the yeah, but go. I'm sorry. Go. I got to check on something real quick. Go ahead and get going with the Harper match.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously Andrew DeMolanta is on my fantasy league, so I was kind of rooting against Thomas Harper. But if I had to lose, I was definitely entertained the whole way through. I was on the edge of my seat, and the fact that Thomas Harper kind of proved me right this early, I'm happy to lose to a great player as him. So, but yeah, it was a very close match the whole way through, and I was cheering DeMolanta like, get that last question, get it on the speed round. And I'm like, So I knew at that moment DeMolanta was going to lose and Harper was going to win at that point.
Yeah. I was worried when Harper missed that first question that he missed. I'm just going to say that I find it interesting that that you get points for leaving out a word in a title, but you don't get points for adding words. So you get points if you take away words, but you don't get points if you add a word. Just very interesting observation I made there.
I'll just say that I think Star Wars is a little bit more more
Meticulous.
It's still in the Schmoedown.
I get it. I understand I understand. I totally understand.
I know. I'm just saying, dude, it shouldn't matter.
I agree.
A rule is a rule. And if you're going to be that meticulous for Star Wars, then like Danny said last night on Let's Get Ready Network, you can't be in the middle, man. That's where all this bullshit trouble comes in. But yeah, so that, I don't know, that had me worried. I was honestly a little bit worried there for Harper. But then as the match unfolds, I start to ease up a little bit. And then we get down to the last questions. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, and I'm torn. Because a part of me is like, okay, DeMolanta missed this question so that Harper just wins it right here. But then the other part of me is like, man, nah, get it right and make Harper win. Like, don't make it Harper won because DeMolanta missed his question. Make it so that Harper won because he got his question right. And I was like, come on, baby. And I felt like Thomas when he, I'm like, yes, man. It was so awesome.
Now, before, because we have to transition soon, I do have a quick question. We saw him win the belt. Digital age, he's used to it. Live championship defense with speed round buzzers. Is that going to be the same?
I have no idea. We're going to have to wait and see how the rounds play out.
Yeah.
But the speed round has proven time and time again, especially with the buzzers in a live setting, that usually decides what's going to happen, especially in Star Wars.
Yeah, as Tim Sim just pointed out in the chat, this title match is definitely a reminder of how razor thin the margins of error are determining who wins the title. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that first DeMolanta-Damon match went all the way into sudden death, and it was a 1-point difference. Even that Laura Kelly match, at least in the first few rounds, was very, very close. So, and then this match, 1-point difference. So it's very, very, very close with the level of competition and how tight the Star Wars division is right now. And I think after DeMolanta beat Damon, I may have made a bold claim on my show as well, similar to Dan, that we would see this title change hands multiple times this season. So I have to kind of go back and check the game tape, but I think I may have, one of my wacky predictions might have panned out there. But yeah, I thought this match was awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Harper does as champion.
For sure. Teresa, what were you thinking as you were watching this match unfold?
Yeah, I was also torn. Dimalanta is my favorite Star Wars player. I was hoping for him to win the belt last year and again this year. And Harper is my favorite rookie of this year. So this was really tough for me. I didn't know who I want to win. But ultimately, I'm so happy for Thomas. And Andrew had his spotlight this year. He did a lot. He deserves the break. He deserves not to be in the tournament and everything. And Harper just deserves this. He was so happy. He's so dedicated to this. He missed DragonCon to be in this match, and yeah, I'm so happy for him, and I'm so happy for the Dan because they really needed this. They needed this badly. So yeah.
I can see. I can. Regardless of what I said earlier, as far as how the Saul and Parker match will shake out, what Teresa just said, I can see Harper and Saul's energy coming together in a big tear being made through everything. The wacky prediction was
what is my variant doing in the chat? Get out of here, dude! Like, come on, you belong in a different universe. Let's just low key breaking the multiverse shit. Like, come on.
Oh man, I still want to know. I still want to do it. I'm not going to spend time on this going off track, but you brought it up, Dagan. I still want to do a show where we have a serious, honest, legit discussion about if Loki and Lady Loki, the variant Lady Loki, were to fuck, would it be and it was a video on Pornhub? Would it be found under taboo or masturbation? I think it's an honest, legit question. Discussion. I mean, would it be taboo or would it be masturbation? I think it's interesting. But anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Have two categories.
That is a different show altogether, Jay.
It's a good show, though.
Yeah, it's a great topic. But right now, everybody, it is time for...
I'm going to talk dirty to you for a second. Math.
Good.
Good timing on that one.
That's what they call a segue, baby. Sexy numbers. Dan, what do you got for us this week, bud?
I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but here we go. So usually at the start of the month, I like to do a forecast. But because the forecast for this month was kind of in flux because we didn't know what the Star Wars bracket was going to look like, I'm going to do an adjustment for this week, especially next week. Now that we know what the team's title match is, the team's bracket is, because that got released last night as well, or early this morning. So we have a new champion, as we have discussed. It's Thomas Harper, and I was glad to be right again with my gut. But here's the bracket. We got Alex Damon versus Molly Damon. We got Nikki Demolanta versus Ross from Nowhere. I am sorry if I can't pronounce that last name, but that's the last name that it is.
Arsenal. All right.
I'm still going to say Ross from Nowhere because that's how I know him. Anyway, Laura Kelly versus Eric Whiteley, and Joseph Scrimshaw versus Gold Leader. Now, Dagan, I'm going to ask you a different question that you probably are familiar with, but
okay.
Which one of these 8 individuals do you think are going to be facing each other in the finals?
I think the easy money right now would be Alex Damon versus Laura Kelly. However, I could see Gold Leader upsetting the couple and maybe not even considered an upset. And I would also watch out for Nikki Demolanta.
All right. Well, you know what? You and me have a similar mind because let's go with what I think my bracket is going to. This is what my bracket looks like. So with Alex Damon versus Molly, I think Alex is going to sleep on the couch because I think he's going to win. And Alex, if you're watching, go on the YouTube Tasty channel and get a couple of recipes. My personal recommendation is the honey glazed pork roast. Delicious. And also make easy pull-apart mozzarella garlic biscuits. Delicious. She'll definitely welcome you back. That's how you're
making me hungry, Dan. Jeez.
That's my personal recommendation for Alex. So for Nikki and Ross from Nowhere, I think Ross is going to win it. We haven't seen that much from Nikki.
Okay.
We haven't seen that much from Ross, so it could go either way. But I'm just, because Thomas is actually hyping him up a bit, I have to go with Ross just based on the current champions guess. But out of those two, between Alex and Ross, I think because Alex was the champion for so long, he's had so many more title defenses, I think he's going to win that match and go to the finals. Now, on the other side of the bracket, we have Lord Kelly versus Eric Whiteley. As Captain Rex says in Clone Wars, experience trumps everything, and Lord Kelly has the most experience here. So I think Lord Kelly is going to take it because of that. Yep. And for Joseph Scrimshaw and Gold Leader, I think
it's a tough one.
I think Gold Leader has proven time and time again that he's not to be underestimated. So I have Gold Leader picking that match. And out of these two, again, I'm going with experience. I'm saying Lord Kelly will win that. So like you said, Alex, like you said, Dagan, I think Alex and Laura are going to go to the finals. But again, it could go either way, but I'm not underestimating either one of these two. But I'm going to favor Alex a little bit because we've seen it before. But again, it can go either way. So here's how the numbers shake out based on my bracket. So here's the and I'm going to constantly flip back and forth between the two. And I'm going to talk about each individual faction. I said in the old forecast that the dungeon would be at 82 points, not counting title matches, not counting spectacular. So around 82 points. That doesn't change. I think that they will stay the same. They had gained enough points where I think they went. So I think they're going to stay the same. With Quirky Mercs, I said that they were going to be at 91 points because I thought if Andrew was going to be in the Star Wars tournament, he was going to earn those points. Because he's out of the tournament, I don't think he's going to get in. Quirky Mercs is going to be at 81 points.
Right.
The usual suspects, I said that they would be at 67 points. They dropped down to 54 points. I think it's a very low possibility that they actually get much points in the tournament season. But again, they could still, things could change. I have been wrong before. The Finstock Exchange, I said that they'd be at 56. They dropped down to 55 because they got TKO'd earlier on in the weeks. So that doesn't really change that much. With Corruption, I said that they'd be around 79. I said that I think that they're going to be at 71 points in ballpark figure. The Den, interestingly, like we said, they needed the points for the title match because I had previously said that they would be at 39 points. They're now at 55. I think Ross is going to earn them points. And again, it could go either way between Alex and Ross. But again, I'm going with the safe bet. I think that's going to give them the points, but I don't think they're going to win the teams. I don't think they're going to win the singles. But again, things could change. With Swag, I said that they would gain somewhere around be around 24 points. That gets bumped up to 30 because Lon Harris is now in round 2. I had King Khan winning that match between Lon Harris, but that got proved wrong. So I think that gets bumped up a bit. And finally, the Stars, I said that they'd be around 29 points going into Spectacular. That gets dropped down to 26. So what do you think, Dagan? Do you think I'm in the ballpark or do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think you're pretty spot on there. I would say that your estimates are mostly accurate. I think that in terms of this tournament, if we're looking at it the way you have it all sort of graphed out, it's more like Swag and the Stars spoiling, playing that spoiler role. So yeah, I think you're pretty much in the ballpark there.
Yeah, and we're going to do the teams tournament next week because I didn't have enough time to put that together, and we weren't going to have enough time. But right. I feel that it's going to be the similar story, and we'll know more information because some matches will have played out. We'll see the progression going forward for next week. But unfortunately, I do have bad news for Roxy Stryer, so let's hope she gives me some hopefully she thinks my numbers are great. Roxy, what do you think about my numbers?
You had the sexiest numbers by far.
All right. Thank you, Roxy.
I agree.
Week in and week out, I agree with her on that. That is for sure.
Roxy Stryer is always correct. I mean, we should know this by now.
All right. Yeah.
Dude, I do have to say something about Roxy since you bring that up, because when you say that, there is something that comes to mind for me. GPS bit, or how she couldn't find her way to Collider in the morning, even with GPS. That if that is not a bit, it's like the most adorable thing.
I don't think it's a bit.
Okay,
I think it's real. Yeah,
I think so too. But if it is a bit, it is so extremely brilliant, and she plays so well.
Yeah.
I think it's real life turned into a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
it's a worked shoot in wrestling terms.
Yep. But right now, everybody, we got Frenchie's Corner. This is going to be a good one here. Before I do hand it over to you, though, Frenchie, last Monday's From Birth to Schmoedown was Thomas Harper's, and it was good. I enjoyed it. You watched it, didn't you, Frenchie?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But this Monday's is one that I'm personally super excited about, guys. It ended up being an hour and 40 minutes long. It is with Mr. Adam Witt. And one of the reasons that it was so long is
because he talks a lot.
Well, no. A little bit, but that's, dude, okay, I'm so excited to say this. Guys, Adam Witt literally grew up 20 minutes from me. He lived there at the same time in life that I did, and I never fucking knew it. So we are familiar with the same roads. We talk about a road that we both know. We talk about an old ghost story out by Oxford, Ohio, where there's like a phantom ghost motorcycle rider. I mean, it just made it so much more fun and interesting for me personally, because we know of the same places. We've been to the same places and locations and stuff. And so it ended up being an hour and 40 minutes, and it was the greatest time of my life so far with this. It was so much fun. That comes out Monday, and I am going to push that. The release of that is going to go back to 1 p.m. time, because I realized that the big thing on SEN starts at noon. And I mean, if I had the choice, I would rather watch that than the premiere of my show. So I'm going to push mine back a little bit. But okay, Frenchie, take it away. What do we got today? I'm going to kick your ass.
You can try, sir. All right. So before we start, I gotta say, Whit is always enjoyable to talk. So I'm almost jealous you had him for an hour and 40. All right. So today's Frenchie's Corner is pretty simple. This was actually before he announced his big announcement. But is Jeff Snyder the best team player of all time? Now, this was introduced by you, and I'm gladly on board with the subject, because I'll start and I'll say no. Am I crazy? Yeah, pretty much. But in my craziness, here's my logic. For me, best team player is if you put them in the past, in the present, in the future, who would dominate? And Jeff Snyder and JTE, that team was amazing at that time, but they did not have the competition they had today. Now, you can see if Jeff Snyder would be the best player of all time, he would have as much success with Andrejko than he had with JTE, which he did have success, but not dominant like he was before. And for me, the best player, does he have as much matching experience? No. But overall, he works best in a team. He complements the team so much better, in my opinion, and that is the kid. The kid, in my opinion, is the best teams player of all time. I'm guessing you're going to say, yes, Jeff Snyder's the best, like you usually do.
No, I'm going to say that I agree. Okay, I agree that is your opinion, and you are more than entitled to it. I'm about to tell you factually why Snyder is the best teams player ever. I wrote this down, dude. I didn't just like how I normally come in here. I was on Schmoedown Wiki. I made a plan, dude. Okay.
You're desperate to win. Okay.
No, this was just so effing absurd on your part. I was like, dude, I'm just going to kick your ass in one foul swoop, dude. Okay. So, Okay, dude, Snyder was one of two people who were on two teams that held the belts. Roca being the other, and both Patriots and Odd Couple were far more dominant than Top 10 and Founding Fathers.
Yeah.
Okay, Top 10, hold on. Top 10 held the belts after beating Schmoes. Then they lost their next match, giving them up to the Patriots. The next time they defended the belts, they didn't even defend them. They did play the Patriots again 2 times, but Patriots defended. Top 10 is done after that. Patriots successfully defended the belt 6 times, and 2 of those against Top 10. Odd Couple then formed. They took the belts from Shire Wolves, and then took them again from Shazam later, which has the kid on there, making Snyder a 2-time belt holder with 2 different teams and a total of 6 successful defenses. Founding Fathers held the belts with 1 successful defense, making Roca a 2-time belt holder with 2 different teams with 1 successful defense. Snyder, if you look at it like that, Snyder, he is the only I don't even understand where you're coming from. I'm about to have another Thursday night incident all over again.
Like, okay, hold your horses. I get what you mean. Accomplishment-wise, yes. But for me, the factor of the best player is not just accomplishment. Because like it or not, like I said before, time and period they played is completely different to the competition we have today. You would put the Patriot in the future or in the present, they would, I personally think, would not have as much success as they had in the past. Because again, they would kept going against the same opponents. It was very limited stock, right? So yeah, obviously they had extremely good success, but I'm looking in overall, for me, the kid is not just about how many defenses, how many this, how many that. It's about the chemistry he brings. You take the kid, you plug him in any team. I find that he's a type of personality that works so well with other people that he will adapt to anything you give him and be successful. Jeff Snyder is not one of them. And for me, that's as much important when we're considering who is the best team's player of all time. And I get your point. You're saying, the Patriots had amazing success. We're not talking about the Patriots here. We're talking about Jeff Snyder.
Yeah, but like I said, there are only 2 possibilities. I argued both of them, and I canceled one of them out. The only 2 possibilities are Snyder and Roca, and Snyder is far superior to Roca. Did you not hear the novel that I wrote out and just recited to you for bedtime? What is going on, dude?
I've never said the contrary. I am nuts. That's not arguable. I am off my rockers. And thank you, Dagan. I see your head nodding. But that's what happens when you're a Montreal fan. But at the same time, for me, it's a lot more than just, again, the certain accomplishments, because again, it goes with the time period you're in. And again, I don't think they would do as well in today's day and age. Whereas the kid's evolution and the plug and play factor, I really think he brings, and the run they're at right now, I think it's not the end. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong, you're right. I'm not saying I'm wrong, right? Because this is a very personally a hard question to ask. Because again, it spans depending on what generation, what season you're playing on. But for me, the plug and play factor is the winning factor for me on the kid. Hey, that's just me. You know what? Enough about us. Like usual, I want to hear the other people's opinion. And should we maybe also bring our special guest as well at the same time?
Yeah, let's bring him in too and see what he's got to think.
Okay, because he called me disrespectful, so I want to hear his opinion here. All right, so starting with our special guest. Hey, Shug.
What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today?
Good. All right. Save best for last.
Sorry, I'm a little less stressed. It's hot in California. It's like 100 degrees in California.
Right. So I actually agree with Jay. I mean, because Frenchie is talking about like putting someone from the past and playing it into now. Jeff has done that. He's played currently in the current version of the Schmoedown, And if you were to put JTE and him together, I think they could actually win. Be dominant as they were, maybe not as much, but pretty dominant because JT came back and he won some matches. So I think it's not crazy to think that Jay is right. And honestly, Jay, I actually have all these notes in my spreadsheet, so you didn't have to really, all you had to do was ask. But yeah, I side with Jay that Jeff is probably, as of right now, the greatest team player of all time.
I wanted it to be known that I could actually do my own research on stats and stuff and make a solid argument. That's why I did it.
Slow clap.
Good job, Jay. Good job, Jay. We totally are proud of you. Look, I said disrespectful just because Frenchie, the way he was saying it, seemed so disrespectful. So I had to say disrespectful. I kind of agree with him. Kid would be a better choice. I think Jeff Snyder is good, but I don't think he's the reason why the Patriots won those titles. I don't think he's the reason why Otter Couple won those titles. I think he's the B player to me. He's not the A player. I see those other teams having a better A. That's just personal.
So can you say that again? Did you say Jeff was the B competitor?
Yes, I did.
What? What? How many times did he screw up on a question and Jeff came in to?
The Patriots, they were both B players, to be honest with you, but they were good B players together. How many times have we seen? How many times have we seen Jeff check out of a match?
How many times have JT just stumbled on a word that he couldn't spell correctly or pronounce a word?
Hey, that's why are you making fun of him for not being able to spell? Double D, you are disrespectful now, man. What kind of nonsense is that? You're gonna disrespect me?
I will say whatever I want.
What about you, Teresa? What do you think?
Oof, I expected this to be really easy, and then Frenchie had to drag the kid in. And he's one of my absolute favorites. And I actually kind of agree. I think he needs a few more wins. It's probably Jeff for now. But if you give me like 2 or 3 more defenses from Kid, I'm going to pick him. So it's really close.
Yeah.
Dagan?
What about you,
Yeah.
The final vote.
It's tough. I don't know if I could say the Kid just because of who his partner is on that team. I mean, he's playing with Bibbs, and a lot of that, I think their success has to do with the chemistry between those two and the fact that they really complement each other. When it comes to Snyder or JTE, I don't know if you could make an argument that one of them is the A or B player over the other ones. I mean, I have to go back and watch the Patriots matches, but I think that it's still open for debate, and I think there's a lot of players in the league right now that in maybe a year or two or a few seasons down the road, we could be talking about having this conversation that somebody else might be the best teams player of all time. So I think it's a nice debate to have right now, but I think we got to give it a few more years before we really determine one way or the other.
And I agree. That's why I said I don't think no one's right or wrong because we're going to see in time. But to go on to what you're saying, for me, Bibiani is an amazing player, but I see him a lot in a singles player. For me, the Kid's evolution and what he brings to Bibiani, for me, really puts him more standout than Bibiani as the best teams player out of there. So I get what you're saying, but if I had to choose between Bibiani and the Kid, I think the Kid brings more to Bibiani than Bibiani brings more to the Kid.
Yeah, not sure I agree with that, but yeah, like you make an argument either way.
And
I do say though what Frenchie said about putting teams. When you talk about sports, you'll say this player from back in the day is better than this player currently, and I think you couldn't put the Patriots, and I think Justice Square said it in this era, and I don't think they would be that good. Do you think the Patriots could beat Shazam? Corruption?
No.
Hell, deception. Like I don't think you could. So
deception. I really do think that because
because Adam Collins has had a bad year. I mean, let's get the real Adam Collins playing the game. Then we'll see.
And JT could actually really win. I really do.
I don't know about that one, Double D. I don't know about that, but
we'll never know.
Well, it's right. It's a right to have.
We'll never know.
You never know. You'll never know.
We've seen stranger things happen.
I'm gonna call it right now. I think this is a draw. I think no one wins this argument today.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Sure.
tied.
I would like to submit that I came on screen once, yes, but that was to just say that, you know, why I did my own research. I did not come on screen at all. And he did, and his reasoning was to further make his argument. That should say right there that I won, because I was so confident that I had this shit in the bag that I just sat back here enjoying my relishing the victory. So I just want to submit that.
Yeah, if you want that, I still say it's a draw.
Can you guys pull up Justin's comment here in the chat? This is an interesting one. The Patriots managed by Roxy would be deadly. Ooh, you could. That's a good point.
That, yeah.
Oh man, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why not?
She keeps Jeff in line. This year's Roxy, I don't think so. Last year's Roxy, or the Roxy that we had, that, you know, that was like, look, people have personal things going on. I don't feel she's just locked in this year. I think she's got a lot of going on. We know she was out because she was shooting a movie. I don't think she is locked in. Last year, I think she was locked in.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's teams that are on the bottom right now that were in the top 5 last year, because their managers right now aren't as locked in because they got personal things going on, which is fine. Hey, you got personal things going on, no problem. But they're not just as locked in, and we've been seeing this a lot this year. The managers that are locked in, they're up there. You know, other than Kaiser, because Kaiser has, for some reason, Adam Witt, who's now become one of the best managers ever.
Yeah.
And to go to what Jay Wade said, saying, hey, he's on screen saying, you know, defending, and that's why he's desperate to win. The fact that he went back on screen and says, I win, is the fact that he should lose, because the fact that you keep picking me off is the reason why I should win.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Right now, we are going to get into the discussion. Frenchie, I'm going to have you drop everyone off screen but me for a minute. Okay, so we're going to talk about that benefit of doubt rule and what happened during the Janine and the Zipper match. Let me go ahead and just pull this up. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this so that everyone we have it fresh in our minds what we're talking about.
Number 5 in the category of animated. Kelly Marie Tran and Daniel Day Kim lent their voices to what Disney film set in the mystical land of Kumandra?
I got an animated question for you because I know you keep up with this stuff. That Marvel What If, any good?
It's the one that I haven't seen yet, and everyone is telling me I got to.
4.
Sorry,
I rely on you for this. 3.
I know.
2.
Get on it, Coach.
1. Pens down, and we go to Janine. Did you have it?
Raya, the Last Dragon?
Raya, the Last Dragon is correct. How about Z-Man?
I believe it's Raya and the Last Dragon.
We will accept either answer, and it is correct for both accounts. And so it is 1, 2, 1 point apiece for that one. And so we move on to the next category, which is we see a wait in the private chat. Let's bring in Winston Marshall just to be safe.
I'm just double checking. I mean, it's not like a random article. It's not Raya the Last Dragon as in Raya's the last. It's Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya with the final dragon. Those are 2 completely different meanings.
Okay, do you want to officially issue a challenge? You want to talk it over with your competitor real quick?
I mean, Zip, isn't it Raya and the Last Dragon?
It is, and it does change the meaning. I'm down with either, but if you say
I would say we go for it because this puts on the line potentially a perfect round. So yeah, I would like to challenge.
Then Roxy, I'm going to give you and Janine a little bit of time to counter with an argument before Steph and I make the ruling.
There's no Raya the Last Dragon movie, so there's nothing to confuse it with. So for benefit of the doubt, which includes ands, does, buts, ifs, which we've seen all season long, then we side with the person who is getting the benefit of the doubt, which would here be Janine, which she couldn't be confusing this with another movie because there is no Raya the Last Dragon.
Okay. Fair arguments both ways. We will be right back with our challenge ruling.
You start on a journey and you never know where it's going to end.
Of course.
This is a story that needs.
You know it. And then here was the decision.
We are back, and we have the combination as well as the challenge ruling. And it was an interesting conversation between all of the judges, but we did arrive at a consensus that while Raya and the Last Dragon and Raya the Last Dragon might not technically be the same movie, and it does make a big difference with that, and it also is Raya the Last Dragon, we can presume that it was the knowledge displayed more than enough to award Janine the Machine the point on getting the correct answer. And so,
okay, so I made a video. Now I'm going to play the video. This was my initial reaction. This was literally within 30 seconds. I hit pause, got my phone immediately. So I'm going to play my initial reaction to this. And then on the flip side, I'm going to talk about it where I stand a couple days after my initial reaction. Okay, yeah, ASG was right, dude. I am motherfucking pissed. Dude, we're breaking this shit down on this Saturday, Speaking of Schmoedown. But all I'm going to say right now, and where it should have ended right away, is that Roxy herself said, but she started her argument by saying there is no movie Raya the. She said there is no movie for that. So how the fuck you get a point for a movie that doesn't fucking exist? Benefit of the doubt, my ass, dude. Participation. I love this sport. I love the people in it. But as soon as I see Christian's not there and Ellis is, I know there's going to be a fucking benefit of the doubt participation point display. I'm sorry, but it is fucking bullshit. The answer is either right or it's wrong. Okay? It's not almost a fucking touchdown. It's not almost a home run. You get points for actually doing it. This is like getting a touchdown. I'm not even going to get into this shit, man. The fucking manager. Roxy herself it's not a movie. How do you get points for a movie that doesn't fucking exist and they admit it? Bullshit, man. I love this sport. Well, I don't even think it's a sport, man. Honest, man. It fucking is. Damn it, dude. This is bullshit. This is not leaving off at the beginning. It changes the entire fucking. It's bullshit. That was me. Literally, I paused, and I did that message or that video. That was my initial reaction. Okay, now I want to say a couple things about that. I stand by everything that I said. There's nothing that I said that, yes, I was angry and I was ranting. So fucking what? It's about content and context, and what I said, I stand by what I said. Some people have said I shouldn't call out Ellis. And let me clarify this, okay? Because one of the things that I had heard was that, it's a group decision, and it's not just Ellis that makes the decision. So let me clarify, okay? In this specific, we're taking this in a case-by-case basis. This is the one we're talking about. Ellis used the benefit of doubt rule to accept the wrong answer. That was Ellis. That was no one else. That's why I call out Ellis, because he does that quite a bit. He will accept wrong answers under the name of the benefit of doubt rule. And if someone else doesn't, his co-partner doesn't, Guy being an example, and it's challenged, then it will be overruled. Okay, but that's the way it is. I'm not picking on anyone. Okay, and it just, my biggest thing before I hand it over to these guys. My biggest thing has always been that, they're playing for money. Is that not serious enough for you? Is that not reason enough to take it seriously? They say it's a sport. The guy who created it, Christian, says it's a sport, and it's definitely competition. So money is at stake. Is that not serious enough? Okay, but more important than that, I've got a clip here from the post-match with of Kate talking in the post-match interview with Harper last night. Let's take a listen to this. I'll have a final word after this, and then I'll hand it over.
And you talk about sacrifice. It's not just Dragon Con. It's look at who he's sacrificing time with. He's on another vacation right now doing this instead of being with the family. Wherever Marissa is, his wife is a saint. Marissa!
She's
And that goes to my other point that I've been trying to make, but I've never had anything to back it up or to explain or to give as a reference what I mean when I say this, but I do now. Kate said it. Dude's on vacation. He's on vacation with his family. And even when he's not, he's got a job. And when he's not doing those things, he is taking time away from his family in his spare time to do this stuff and to study for this and to prep for this and to dedicate to this. That's time away from his family. You heard his child there with him. Now, and I'm not saying, dude, I've never talked to Thomas about this. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying Thomas feels this way. I want to make that clear. But I'm saying that is a good point or a reference as to what I'm saying. You know, they spend a lot of time away from their families and things that they could be doing other than this. And if that's not serious enough for you either, then I don't know what to say. But that's my final word on it. That's all I have to say about it. And until later on in the season when another benefit of the doubt rule happens. But I'm gonna jump off here, and Frenchie's gonna head up a discussion.
All right. So again, thanks for giving me. Well, we're not gonna wait for Teresa, but once her internet's back up, we'll put her back on. I want to start with, I get what he means. It's very inconsistent, right? Sometimes, you know, they lean one way, they lean the other way. I truly think that how it should be, if there's a movie that exists, if you have that word or close enough or whatever, like and the movie, like The Room and Room, like one of our watchers said, you know, yes, then okay, you don't count any points. But if the movie there's no precedent for it, right? And it just, you know, a slip up, I think that still should count. But that's just me, because I know I would do those errors too, but I would know the movie. It just, again, sometimes in a moment it just comes out wrong, but you know the movie. I think you still should get the point. What about you guys? Let's start with the movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with Jay. I mean, because, you know, we had Kate on here several weeks ago, and I asked her about her challenge to Paige LeBetty when she left out the word "you" with "you don't mess with the Zohan." And again, so now we have, and she said that it's not about the right answer. It's about getting close to the right answer. It's about the meaning of the title. So when you say "don't mess with the Zohan," it changed the meaning from "you don't mess with the Zohan." It's like more of a suggestion to a command. And that's what Winston was saying with Raya and the Last Dragon. It changes the whole meaning. So now we have two managers who are saying that it's about the meaning of the title. So I think that should be the standard, is you have to say the exact title to get the point. And if you don't get the exact title, then you aren't awarded the point. And I think that there should be like a contingency, like what qualifies as don't benefit of the doubt rule and not benefit of the doubt rule.
What about you, Teresa? Since you're on and off right now because your internet, let's might as well go to you right now. Oh, good.
Okay.
It happens.
I'm not as passionate about this as Jay is. I don't think we need to like scratch the rule completely. I think we need to revise it, and I think we need some consistency, which we don't have this season, and that's not good. But I still think we should keep it. Just revise it and make it better and more fair. That's me.
What about you, Shug?
So for me with this situation is the bottom line is, and I'm probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers when I say this. It does not matter if there's benefit of the doubt. Does not matter if you knew what the movie you were talking about. The point of the competition is you're supposed to write it down, know it, and write it correctly on the board. I don't care if Janine watched the movie, did a review on it. Obviously, we saw when Jeff Snyder knew a movie and did a review on it, and he doesn't remember it. If you can't do that, then you don't get the point. There's no, to me, there shouldn't be a benefit of the doubt rule. I think the rule is stupid. It needs to be taken out of the Schmoedown. It doesn't make sense. If you don't write the movie on the board, then you don't get the point. That's why they, in this later rounds, you don't have to write the name of the movie on the board. You just have to say it. It makes it a little easier. But that round one, the point is it's an exercise to write the name of the movie on the board to show that you know it, you know how to spell it, and you know what the movie, you know, what they're asking in the question. So I don't care if Janine, if Thomas Harper, Andrew Demolanta, Saul, I don't care who. If you don't write it down correctly on the board, you don't get the point. I don't care if you did a review on the damn movie. That's just the bottom line. So to me, that's just how it should be. I'm sorry if anybody else disagrees. I'm sorry that benefit of doubt. There shouldn't be a benefit of the doubt because it doesn't. What is the benefit of the doubt? I could sit here and be like, oh, I wrote this down, and it's close. But I don't really know the title of the movie. Then you say the title. I say, yeah, well, that's what I meant. No, get rid of the damn rule. I don't like it.
Megan.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say on this, so I'm glad we're not on any time constraints. But yeah, I'm with you on Shug. This rule needs to go. It's got to go. You have to have some sort of consistency between all divisions, not just singles. I know that there's this argument of like IG in Star Wars has to be super specific. Yes, so that should also apply to singles and teams, right? You don't have like the National League. There's a rule where you can hit a home run if it hits the wall. You know, it has to actually be a home run. There's no rule like that in National League versus American League. I'm making a baseball reference here for you, Jay. But listen, okay, this is my biggest example that I will use. In this particular instance, the and is missing, right? So Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, that would be an acceptable answer? No. Butch Cassidy is not the Sundance Kid. Raya is not the Last Dragon. You're talking about something completely different here. You're now saying that the title of the movie means something completely different, right?
Now, Dagan, if I can, I kind of agree in a sense. Like at this point, benefit of the rule, Jay-Way's starting to win me over, right? Because I understand what he's saying, but what happened in the Star Wars title match, I think should replace it. When Harper, I forgot
I'm fine or I'm okay. Or
yes, and he said
master.
He said master, right? And then the mounted it didn't say master. Instead of going, yeah, okay, good, they paused, convened, and then made a decision. So instead of having benefit of the rule, just if you're not sure if the answer is right or not, because it's not exactly written as the answer should be in their notes, you reconvene and then you make a decision, and not make a decision and people have to challenge after. So what do you guys think about what happened in the Star Wars match and the way they dealt with it versus the rest of the season, how they dealt with it?
Well, first of all, I think that was a great way to handle it because obviously you're being that meticulous about it. But you can't do that with every single match because it could run up the time. It could waste the time of everybody, especially at live events. That would be people will be just sitting there and be bored to death.
But what's better though, having that or
let me make a suggestion. I think what should be amended is what does apply is they could be what applies to the benefit of doubt rule. What should not apply is to when you're looking for an exact quote, when you're looking for the name of a specific ship or whatever thing you're looking for, and movie titles. I think those three things that disqualify from benefit of doubt rule, that way it doesn't compute and it makes everything a little bit more consistent.
All right, and what about you, Shug?
Well, I'm looking at some of the comments with Tim Sen saying maybe if they made it too suspicious, I can't say that word, whatever. They made it too,
specific.
Thank you, Dan. I could never pronounce that word for 38 years. I don't know why. Competitors would leave. Well, this is supposed to be the top-notch movie trivia league. Like, if they can't look it again, round one, you're supposed to know the title and write it down. That is the point of round one. 2 and 3, you say it. So 2 and 3, I can see benefit of the doubt. If maybe I would even give it that. But round one, you have to write it down. You have to know what the title is. I'm sorry. And if you can't write it down, then you don't get the point. Round 2 and 3, okay. You say it out loud. I say Raya the Last Dragon. Maybe someone's like, oh, it just, I meant Raya and the Last Dragon. I just said it too fast. Okay, cool. Benefit of the doubt. But the point of, and I see you shaking your head. Wow. I understand. But what I'm saying, when you're writing it down, that's the point of the exercise. When you're saying it out loud, we rush things. I mix my words sometimes because of how I speak. Yeah. Maybe Dagan does that too. Maybe you don't. Maybe Frenchie does. So that I understand. But when it comes to this rule, I just think it needs to be absolutely abolished. And don't make a rule because you want to make it easier. Like, that's not the point. It's not supposed to be easy. I don't know I thought I knew movies when I started watching Schmoedown. I don't know shit. I don't know anything about movies now. I learned that.
I thought I knew Star Wars before this down.
Yeah.
But Dagan, go ahead.
No, I'm with you on that, Chuck. I mean, I think it boils down to you either have the answer written down correctly or you don't, right? Certain things like spelling, maybe like, okay, who directed The Sixth Sense? M. Night Shyamalan. That's really difficult to spell, right? Okay, if you spell it wrong, but it's still M. Night Shyamalan, right? I get that. But when it comes to a title of a movie, I get the thing, thing versus the thing sort of thing. But I think that it needs to really be cleared up that you have to have the answer. I mean, that's what this league is. It's getting the answer correctly, right? Gets you points and gets you the win. So this idea that, if they change it and singles and teams now, you have to be that specific, as it should be across the entire league, doesn't matter if it's IG, Star Wars, singles, teams, then the idea that people are going to leave because it's too difficult or whatever. All right, see ya. I'm sorry, but you're not good enough to hang if that's the case. All right, bye-bye. I don't want to ruffle some feathers here, but I am more in that camp of, the answer, you have it written down. If you miss a word and it totally changes the context and the meaning of the answer, then it's wrong. That's just the way it is. So.
All right. So before we continue, I know Jay Way wanted to actually say something positive about it. Good Lord, that happened.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. There's one time when I can think of that the benefit of doubt rule came into play, and other moments when this happens, these are acceptable times. And it was the Star Wars match. Forgive me, I don't remember specifically, between Ace and Harper concerning the shields being up or down on the Death Star.
Oh no, I think that was
Alex Damon. No, that was Alex Damon. That was Alex Damon, Andrew DeMolanta. That was the challenge. That remember he thought he lost, and then he challenged it, and then it kept going. But continue, Jay.
So that in that circumstance, I can understand, and this is not a knock against the writing team at all. They've been doing a magnificent job. I mean, dude, they do such a good job. I quit playing along last year, and that's for real. They're just blowing my mind. But sometimes it happens that question wasn't worded very well. And so they examined it, and they determined that, yes, both answers were acceptable in that circumstance. I just wanted to point out that came to me. That is one time where I think the benefit of doubt rule came into play, and it was very well handled, and it actually worked. But that's all I had to say.
So the one thing I want to say is, let's say, I know I've heard both you, Dagan, and Shug's argument. Would you rather have the benefit of the doubt rule be abolished from round one and sudden death? Would that be acceptable?
That would be fine. That would actually make a lot of sense because you're not using the board. So again, this goes into people's speak, how they speak. They maybe just or their internet cuts out, so it clicks for a second, and things like that. Also, too, we got to remember this. It's because we're in the digital age. The digital age, we don't have this issue. When there's taping these matches, there's not really this issue about benefit of the doubt because if there's a challenge, they talk about it and then they work around it. So I think that is one of the issues too with this. But sorry, Dagan. Sorry. Yeah, Dagan, go ahead.
Well, before Dagan, let's get Teresa on maybe her final thoughts. What you miss is basically maybe modifying the benefit of the doubt rule to either maybe having some specific moments but not touching titles and stuff, or having like we just said, specific rounds that don't have whiteboards because someone like me be screwed. I'm French, right? And I don't necessarily, or you wouldn't necessarily pronounce the same way or have the same dialect for certain things, right? Because we're translating the titles. Now, what do you think? Should we modify it, or should we take it to get rid of it, or should we just keep it as is?
Yeah, I think modified is the best version. I think it's there for a reason. I just think it is overused now in situations that it shouldn't be used. It's not for like changing titles and stuff. I'm one of the people who didn't like the Elba challenge. I thought it was wrong. I thought it was the wrong answer. So, but after that, I kind of gave up on it. Like I'm now like just whatever. Yeah. I don't care because it's very inconsistent. It depends on who's on the desk, and it's not a knock against Mark Ellis, but it depends on who's on the desk. They need to. That's my biggest issue. Like just keep it one way. Just keep it one way. This is wrong. This is correct. I don't care what. But just keep it one way. Just be consistent. That's my problem.
Before we do the rounds, actually, the people who are watching, simply don't have to write a whole paragraph. Simply put in keep, change, or stay the same. I want to see what you guys think. So let's go ahead, run ahead. I know Shug wanted to say something about this as well.
Yeah. I just want to say something real quick. And to Ashley's point, I'm talking about the challenge, not the actual incorrect answer because of the digital. I'm talking about the challenge. But anyway, what I do say, is none of us can be mad at Roxy. She just was trying to win her competitor a point and make it, look, if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if it's the manager's job to try, like who was it? The Kevin Smith challenge. Everybody knew that was wrong. Yeah. But Coy went with it. Why? Because he believes in his player. It was wrong, but you know what? I'm never going to sit here and crap on a manager for nope. This is how I'm going to defend my player. She used the right words. She's right. There is no other Raya movie that we know of. Everybody, Justin had pointed that earlier, so she's correct. But the problem is it changes the meaning of the movie. So that to me is why we didn't like it. But don't crap on Roxy for doing what she had to do. She's trying to win she's trying to help her competitor win. That's all I'm saying.
And pretty divided right now in the chat. So the interesting, this is thing. You do some things, people won't be happy. You do something else, people won't be happy. So you're damn if you do, or you're damn if you don't, right? So I wouldn't want to be Christian in this instance. Yeah. It's an impossible situation to fix. Because again, this is what intellectual sports is. You're using your brain, but it's very fine line, especially Christians inventing the sport. I know Jay Wade is like, this is not really a sport. I see it's a sport. No matter what, it's a sport, and it's an impossible task trying to set the milestone, the road for this sport. There's going to be bumps along the roads, and hell has there been bumps. But again, he's screwed if he does, or he's screwed if he doesn't, right? So, Double D, final thoughts before we end this segment.
So, what I will say, there was one other time, and it was a fatal five-way where it was someone from Australia. It was a Harry Potter question, and he wrote down torch instead of whatever it was called. And that's the problem with international audiences and international competitors, where you have one word that's for American version, but then you have another word for an international person, and it can confuse people. So that's one of the reasons why benefit, kind of going with what Jay Way said with the benefit of the doubt rule, why it's needed. But again, I think it should be modified to kind of get some kind of the argument a little bit out of the way.
They get final thoughts?
Yeah, I think I want to piggyback on something Teresa just said. Consistency. I think that we just need to establish consistency, and we need to sort of make sure that sort of what ASG is pointing out here in the chat, that the judges need to be made aware of what the rule book is going in, and they need to follow that. There's no like wishy-washy. I don't like this wishy-washy, like, well, the rule says this, but we'll make the decision another way. No, follow the rule book. Clarify in the rule book what exactly the rule is. Be very specific with your wording, and I think that the gameplay will flow a little bit smoother, and we won't run into some of these kinds of problems.
And my final thoughts is they probably will. The thing is, they're figuring it out as they go right now.
Right.
So like this was a test run. This was version 1 of the benefit of the doubt rule. Version 2, I think, will, like Double D says, go into more specifics of how it's applied, when it's applied, for what circumstances applied. But to be able to get to that conclusion, you have to have failures and successes. You have to have moments you like fail flat in your face, and then, oh, you know what? We should learn from this and do something around this, right? If you don't, you can't evolve. You can't evolve the benefit of the doubt. So this is the growing pains they have to go through to be able to perfect and do the ultimate mental sport, right? Anyways, that's just my opinion, but it's not the final version. It's not going away personally, but it's not the final version, and they have to learn, and I think they are. All right, so let's bring on Jay Wade. All right, let me adjust this here. I know you love your spot.
Okay, dude, that was a great discussion. I enjoyed listening to it, and I mean, I'll be completely honest. I mean, obviously, you can see I've calmed down a little bit from the video.
Your blood pressure medication, right?
When I saw that video, Jay, I really thought you were just going to take a chair and just start hitting everything. You should have really done it. It would have been great. It would have been great if you would just start taking
entertainment value. Yeah.
And just screaming, "Motherfucking benefit of the doubt rule!"
Tearing everything apart. Yeah.
I did have bad dreams that night, though, for real, and I was pissed off in my. And I knew it. I was aware that I was angry while I was sleeping. It was very uncomfortable night. And and I'll also be completely I'll tell it how it is. The main reason the only reason I was not involved in that final discussion is because I know me, and I very well could have been triggered and gone off again. And I'm like, nah, I've already gone off once. And then I calmly stated and clarified how I feel, and that's how I feel. So that's that. But thank you to everyone. Double D, thank you for being here. Frenchie, you got something to say real quick?
Yeah, if these guys are available in 8 minutes, go check on Schmoedown North. Mount Schmoedown actually has Kate on to talk about the win yesterday and just the evolution of the den itself. So do not miss that.
Yep, head over to Schmoes of the North and check that out. Dagan from Let's Get Ready Network, thank you for being here. Suge Knight, always a pleasure. Spin from the Real Guys, Monday nights. What time Monday?
Mondays at 5 p.m. You never know who's going to show up. I do want to plug this, though. Tomorrow I will be on Euro Schmoes, one of my favorite Schmoedown shows ever. So I'll be there tomorrow hanging out. Teresa, are you going to be there?
Yes.
So I'll be there with Teresa. So we'll be hanging out. So tomorrow, 12 p.m. PST. I don't know where all you guys live, but I just know my time. So be there.
Hell yeah. And I was going to mention that too. I've caught the last 2 weeks of Euro Schmoes on Sundays live. So it's fun. I enjoy it. Teresa from Euro Schmoes, thank you for being here again. And why don't you just reiterate what Suge just said?
Yeah, check us out every Sunday at 12 PST. It's 8 UK time. And check us out. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Everybody, I don't know. I love you all. I love the Schmoedown. I love everyone in it.
I have to say,
we love you, Jay.
This is probably the show that Jay's screamed the less. So that's an accomplishment.
Crazy enough, yeah.
But on the final note, I did find there are 3 movies coming out very soon. Their release dates have been moved up, actually. Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone, where he turns into a stone and he belongs to a wizard. A Tree Grows on Brooklyn, the entire city of Brooklyn is overrun by a huge tree, and the Phantom of the Opera.
But okay.
What's going on?
You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.